Hey everyone, welcome to Real Talk Pelvic Health. Today we're going to talk about what pelvic floor dysfunction is. So you've probably heard the term, but not everybody knows what it is. Plainly speaking, it is a dysfunction of your pelvic floor muscles. So what does that really look like and what does that really mean? So first let's explain what your pelvic floor is. Your pelvic floor is not just a big hammock at the base of your pelvis, not one big muscle. It's made up of several different muscles. So there's 3 layers of muscles in the pelvic floor. The first layer is closest to the opening, and those muscles function sphincterically, which means they open and close our holes. So we have the external anal sphincter that opens and closes the anus. We've got a muscle that opens and closes the vagina. And then we have a muscle that opens and closes the urethra. Okay, so what would dysfunction look like in those muscle groups? It would look like, involuntary leakage of stool or gas, involuntary leakage of urine, and that would include just like leakage of urine with coughing, sneezing, and laughing. And then it would also include potentially painful intercourse. So if the muscle that opens and closes the vagina is really tight, it will often make an initial entry during intercourse uncomfortable. Okay, the second layer of muscles is more sexual, so it functions to help give us sexual pleasure. So if we have dysfunction in those muscles, we often will have difficulty achieving an orgasm. There's also some support that those muscles give to the urethra. Your third layer of muscles is called your levator ani muscle group. It's made up of several different muscles, but it has a few main functions. So one of those is to give support to the pelvis. So your pelvis is made of 2 pelvic bones that meet up with your sacrum in the back of the pelvis, okay? And then your pubic bones meet together in the front, okay? So the levator ani muscle group runs from your pubic bones in the front all the way down and around to the back near the sacrum. So those muscles, keep everything in good alignment, or at least contribute to that. They also help us with defecation and urination. So they need to be able to contract to keep things in, and then they need to be able to relax to let things out. So if there's dysfunction of those muscles, you'll often have problems in those areas with urinating or defecating. They also give our coccyx its position, or they help with that. So your tailbone should have a nice, little curve to it, but if the pelvic floor muscles that attach to that coccyx are too tight or too loose, or they're tighter on one side and looser on the other, they can turn the coccyx, too far inward or pull it to one side and cause tailbone pain. So other dysfunction of those muscles would feel like pain with a deep thrust during intercourse. So they're at the back part of our pelvis. So with a deep thrust, if the penis hits those muscles, it will make that uncomfortable sometimes. It'll feel like people will describe it like a wall, or they'll just say, I kind of want to pull away when he gets deep. Okay. So overall, there are some other things that pelvic floor dysfunction can create. One of those would be like lower abdominal pain. So always see your doctor first and make sure there's no other cause for lower abdominal pain. But if nothing is coming up and you're just kind of having a vague ache, or sometimes it's sharp pain if it's gotten really bad, in the lower abdomen around like the inguinal areas, the groin areas, or the pubic bones, sometimes that can be due to referred pain from the pelvic floor muscles, okay? People might also have urinary urgency, frequency, and complete emptying. Those are also sometimes signs of pelvic floor dysfunction. Those muscles can get really tight and pinch around the bladder or the urethra and make you feel like you have to go all the time, or make you feel like you don't empty completely, okay? You might have groin pain. So some people will have pain kind of in the creases of the front of their hips where their groin is. It might be due to a true hip problem. It also could be due to pain from pelvic floor muscles being really tight, and they can refer pain to that area. A lot of people will describe a low back ache. So they'll say, like, I just feel like I have this band of pain across my low back or upper buttocks, and oftentimes that's referred pain from the pelvic floor. SI joint dysfunction or sacroiliac joint dysfunction is another really common complaint of people with pelvic floor dysfunction. So the muscles that line the inside of your sacroiliac joint are part of the levator ani complex. And so if you're really tight on one side, that could cause sacroiliac joint dysfunction on one side. So if you've, tried everything you can think of but never tried pelvic floor therapy, that might be something that you look into. Okay, so those are some of the big things that can feel like pelvic floor dysfunction, or that pelvic floor dysfunction can feel like, and that kind of explains what those muscles are and what they do. So as I always say in all the videos, if you have any questions about these things, feel free to drop the questions below, but always find a pelvic floor therapist near you if you feel like you have dysfunction in these muscles. So thanks for watching, and I hope you guys have a great day.